Well, hello. This is Rosa RCJ Creations. How are you doing? Bringing to you, oops, one more time. I need to turn this so I make sure I'm in frame. We're making today, I'm squatting down here. I still got this stupid allergy cough stuff, but it is getting much better. Anyway, we're making today banana bread, and I'm making it in 3 different little loaves. And these are those little disposable loaves, because I love nuts in mine. Hubby doesn't. Okay, so I'm making one with nuts, one without, and one that's... We'll see how much we have left. We have enough for all 3. I'm hoping we do, because I already sprayed them all down already. But what I've got here is 2½ cups of whole wheat flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. Got my... I will put the ingredients in the description box. I've got me some baking powder. No, I have, yeah, baking powder and some salt. And what else did it ask for? It asked for something else. I forget what. Oh, I forgot my spoon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stir. I personally like to mix all the dry ingredients separately, and then I add my wet ingredients. Now I like to make sure I mix all the dry ingredients first. Whew, this spoon's too small. You know what, I should be using a fork. Let me get a big fork. And I'm going to get a spatula to scrape the bowl. Okay, so on the dry ingredients, and make sure that your brown sugar is soft and not clumpy. See that? And I make my own brown sugar, but I do put one of those ceramic sugar keepers, brown sugar keepers. You can buy them. Almost all the grocery stores have them. But basically all it is terracotta pots. So if you have some terracotta pots that you haven't used yet, wash them really well. Soak it, break off a little piece of one. And be careful though so you don't get cut yourself, because it will cut you. And then put pieces of that inside your sugar. And your brown sugar, that way your brown sugar doesn't clump. So even if you bought store-bought, or if you make it yourself, it's going to clump. It's just a matter of time. And since we don't do a whole lot of sugar here, our sugar lasts us a long time. So that's why it's easier for us and cheaper just to make it as we need it. And if I remember, I'll put a link of my video, because I think I did a video. I'm not for sure, of how you make your own brown sugar. But all it is you put regular table sugar, granulated sugar, and you add a dark molasses to it. And you stir. Now, this requires a lot of elbow grease. Okay? And you don't want to really use a mixer. You can, but you really don't. Okay, so that's pretty well incorporated. I got all my little lumps out. Now I'm going to add the rest of my dry ingredients. And I'm going to stir this again. What I like about banana bread is you don't have to stir and beat it to death. You want to incorporate it all, but you don't have to beat it to death. But you can use a mixer, you can use a hand. I don't use either mixer at all. I just mix it with my hand. Now I'm not going to have you see me do all that. But anyway, so that is pretty much all mixed up pretty darn good. Make sure, clean table, clean tools, clean hands, because you're working with food you're going to eat. Next, we're going to add our wet ingredients, which is 1 egg, 3½ tablespoons of cooking oil, vegetable oil. We only have right now canola oil, so that's what I'm using. That's what I have extra of. And then one cup of milk, but I added my homemade vanilla because I love my homemade vanilla. I like to put my homemade vanilla in all my cake mixes. It really makes the flavor stand out. And you ought to try it. Let me know. Post a comment once you've tried it to see how you like it. Now we're just going to mix this up. And all I'm going to do is mix. Now I'm going to try to stay under my 15 minutes. And I only did half a cup of milk because I'm going to be adding my bananas, but I'm not going to add the bananas in yet because I want to make sure that most of this is in here and incorporate it pretty good. Remember, don't forget, go all the way down to the bottom center of the bowl because that's where a lot of the flour or the dry ingredients stays if it's not mixed well. Now we're going to add, I mashed up it was 4 ripe bananas that I had in my freezer. When we don't eat them fast enough, I stick them in my freezer and then I make something with it. So we're going to do 1 cup. It asks for 1 cup of bananas. And I'm thinking I'll be using all of this, but I don't want to overdo it. But I think I will be making all of this. Yeah, there's just very little left. So I'm going to pour all this in there. And then that's going to add the moisture that you need to mix up your mix. Now if you want to, go ahead and use a mixer, electric mixer. It's totally up to you. Got some banana on me. There's my nuts, because I'm going to pour these. In fact, let me move these over here. Because I'm going to pour this first batch with no nuts for hubby. So, I'm so sorry. It actually is getting a lot better. And you don't want it really runny because it will thicken up, but you do want to have some runniness. It looks, let me show you, see there, it looks a little dry to me, but you know what? I'm going to incorporate all the bananas, make sure I'm going all the way to the very bottom. And see that? Where I have some flour. It didn't get mixed. That's what I'm saying. Make sure you go all the way to the center bottom. And pick it up and lift. And twist and turn. That way it mixes really well. Ooh, it smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. You could smell it. Okay. But you know what? To me, it's just a little too dry. So I'm going to add just a tad of milk. Yep. And I'm mixing it. I'm grabbing from the side and going over because you want to make sure you get everything. You don't want to see any dry ingredients at all. Okay? But for me, it looks just a little bit dry. Let me get me a little bit more milk. And then after a while, when you start making this a couple times, do yourself a favor. Write down anything extra that you added to your recipe. Write it, pencil it in. That way you'll know what to do or what not to do the next time you make your same recipe again. Oh yeah, this is much better. Look at that. See, it's a little bit more wetter. It's easier to mix now. And it's easier to stir. So I'm going to pause because I got to mix this for 50 strokes. Then I'm going to put it in the pans and I'll bring you back when I get to that phase. Okay, we're back mixing. This is a good time when you have a bowl, if you have a bowl with a lip, it makes it a lot easier. Now because these are flimsy little disposable, sorry about that. I like to put all these, when I do these flimsy little containers, put it in a cookie sheet so it doesn't have a chance of warping on me. Because sometimes in the heat, it'll move around. And I don't want to have an accident. Then have to clean up a big old mess. Tell me how I know that. Now it's going to rise, so you don't want to fill it all the way to the top. Now I'm just going to spread this evenly. And I went about a little bit less than a half. See that? And I will add more to it. But this next, I'm going to do this other batch without the nuts in it. And let's see if I have enough for 3 containers, which I think I will. They won't be 3 full containers, but close enough. Okay, now here's my nuts. You use as many nuts as you want. I just chopped. Now I'm using almonds because I have extra almonds I want to use up. So I just chopped up my fresh almonds. And that's what's going to go in the mix. Okay. This one. And make sure I can reach it. And when you're using a spatula, you get to scrape the entire bowl, so you don't lose any of all this goodiness, because all this is yummy. Boy, they smell so good. You can just smell the bananas. And I'm just scraping as much as I can, as much as you want. It's up to you. I'm a cheapskate, so I want to use every little morsel. Okay, so we're going to spread this. Now this one got a little bit more full than the other ones. So we're going to have a little bit of overflow, but that's okay. And this is another tip here, is write down where you filled them if you're going to use the same container or whatever container you're going to use. That way you'll know how much of it overflows, because it rises with the flour. You could use all-purpose flour. You can use pretty much any flour you want. Okay, you can lick the spoon, but I'm not going to. And my timer already went off, so they're going to go in the oven, and I'm going to set my timer. It says about 70 minutes, but because they're in the smaller loaf pans, I'm going to set it for 30 minutes, and let's see how it does. And I have a little cake tester. I like it because it's got the little cover to it, and it's just a little metal thing. You just stick it in your cake, and when you pull it out, if it's clean, then that means your cake is done. If there's pieces of wet moisture cake or brownies, whatever it is that you're making, whatever your baked product is, that means it's not done. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in my oven now, and I'm going to set my timer, and we'll bring you back for the taste. The best part, the taste test. Okay, we're bringing it back. I'm going to do my dishes now. Alrighty, we're back. Do yourself a huge favor when you're doing the cake tester. Make sure you check the entire cake. I did the edges, and I thought I did the dead center, but I didn't. And on the one with the nuts in it, the edges cooked really well, but the center part did not. So I had to put it back in the oven. So I'm just like giving you an FYI. And then here is the one with no nuts. And as you can see right here in the dead center, it's a little gooey. And I'm going to show you. I actually put these because I thought these were done, but they're not done. So they're going to go back in the oven. And you see that right there? It's just the top little layer, just that one little section did not cook. So since I have time, I'm going to put them back in the oven and bake them. But I wanted to show you that, so FYI. It's been over 2 years since I've even had bread. But I used to make it all the time. I already turned the oven off. I'm just going to let it cook the top of it off as it's cooling down, because I just turned it off. But here, and I'm going to bring you up close, here is a piece of the one with no nuts. And see how the end of it, see that? It's all cooked, but there's a little bit of moisture on the top. But that's not enough for too much to bother me now. Now here is the center on the edge of the one with the nuts. Now I will tell you this tastes really good if you put some melted butter on top, and then you take a bite of it. No, it's not low-cal, but okay, let's do the taste test. Sure smells good though. Okay, so here's a piece of the plain banana. Nice and moist. The banana really made a difference. That's good. Now my favorite, which is the banana nut, that's what I'm really into. Look at that moisture. Okay, let's take a taste. This is 2 thumbs up. Love this recipe. I'm going to put my notes and my tips that when I'm using this size of pans, and this is only one batch and I made three pans, to make sure I put extra time so the center cooks. And I ended up having to do an extra 20 minutes on mine with the nuts in it. And I'm assuming because it was very, very little that didn't cook on that top layer in the center of the other two. It'll probably just about another 7 to 10 minutes maybe. But I'm going to go ahead and set my timer, let it sit. Then they'll be ready. They're actually ready to eat right now because it was only that much of the top layer right here from right here. Ooh, that's too hot. Let me show you. The only part that didn't cook was from right here to right there. And it didn't go, it was cooked, it was just a little layer, like that much of that top layer that didn't cook. The rest of it was cooked. The bottom part was cooked, the sides were cooked. It was just the middle, the center middle. So anyway, I thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, place a comment, and ring the bell. That way you'll know when my next video is up. And don't forget to look in the description box. There'll be full details of the recipe and how to make it with my little tips here. And I thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.